we started out, I was doing most of the IT myself, taking care of things. And it just, trying to run the business and doing everything else, it just really came too much.
We had an employee that was trying to handle all of our internal IT needs. And what she was doing is she was going back and forth between jobs. So at one minute she would be doing billing in the accounting department. The next minute she was downloading arrivals and departures for one of our groups. And then the next minute she was fixing all of our computers.
When we bought the business, we inherited some old software that I was told, advised that we really needed to upgrade, and I had no real clue on how we were going to do that, or what we were going to use. What kind of, did we have software issues? Did we have hardware issues? As far as I was concerned, we just had issues.
If something goes awry with technology, it's very, very bad at our office. There's lots of phone calls to people and lots of women that come in to ask me, what do we do now? What happened? We essentially are shut down for the day if something goes wrong.
I chose Back to Business because I was looking for help with our IT department. I was doing it, most of it all myself, and with trying to run more of the business, I just didn't have the time that was needed. Where they've become like almost part of our staff, and they just happen to be in another location. Well, by doing it remotely, they don't have to take the time to come out here, so we don't have to wait for them to get here. While I'm talking to them on the phone, they can log into the servers or the workstation and take care of it. A lot of times I'll get an email from Back to Business saying, I found this problem, I fixed it, before I even know that something's happened.
With Back to Business, you don't realize it, but it's the little things that add up. And I'll give you an example of something that happened. Last week, our printer, scanner, copier went on the blink, and we tried to get it, fixed, and we did that on our own, and we were able to get the jam fixed. But what had happened is it took us off the network, and so one of my employees called Back to Business. They got on the telephone and helped us reconnect everything to the network. Now, what would have taken us probably 3 weeks to do, it only took just a short time. There's no better way to do it than to make sure that you have some kind of company working with you on your IT needs. And the only thing I can say is that, I hit the jackpot because I didn't have to go to another company. I got real lucky with Back to Business, and they've met my needs from the very beginning. And with that, I owe them a debt of gratitude, and I can never recommend them enough.
It gives a small business, a medium to small sized business, the ability to not worry about technology issues. I have better things to worry about every day, okay? But yet technology is so important to what we do here. We're in the process right now of getting ready to evaluate and purchase a warehouse management system. The first thing I'm going to do once I get several different packages of software together is I'm going to make that call the folks at Back to Business I.T. and say, I have 2 or 3. Do you have time that we can sit down and talk about these? How do you think they would integrate with what we're doing? One of them is already our software provider. Is it a good idea to bring the 2 of them together, to just integrate with those? Do you think it'd be a better idea to bring a totally separate warehouse management system in and try and integrate the 2? Can we do that? I have lots of questions for them as we go forward with something it's all technology related. It's all software stuff. And to be quite honest with you, I have no clue. So we're going to make that call because it just makes sense. They're not going to sell it to me. I'm not going to buy it from them. All I'm looking for from Back to Business IT is to make a recommendation. If they were buying it, I'd like to know, which one would they buy? It makes me feel good because their recommendations back to us or just honestly from being a partner with us.
Back to Business IT provides us with a lot of levels of comfort and security that our business will stay up and running, and if there's an issue, they will fix it immediately before we know about it. There's a lot of mornings I get to my office at 7:30 or 8 and I already have an email from one of the specialists here saying, hey Steph, something went wrong with the server last night, but we checked it out and we fixed it and you're fine. If we didn't have Back to Business IT, that wouldn't happen. I'd be finding out the problem first thing in the morning and having to try and fix it myself. We don't need, and it's not a good use of our resources and our income to pay somebody to be in-house. There's not that many issues. But having Back to Business IT allows us to have some peace of mind and know that we are being taken care of like a large corporation without having to hire somebody in-house. I would absolutely recommend Back to Business IT.
That's who I'm going to call when I've got an issue.
And they've met my needs from the very beginning.
Back to Business gets me back to my business.